much. No surprises here. A report from a U.S. government lab, which was originally prepared back in May of 2020, finds it, quote, plausible that the coronavirus leaked from the virology lab in Wuhan, China. Something, of course, you've heard here over and over again on this program over the last year. The Wall Street Journal is reporting today that that report was prepared and used by the Trump administration State Department. It probed the virus's origins, as we heard yesterday from former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Joining me right now is Fox News senior strategic analyst General Jack Keane. General, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. Increasingly, we know that this was likely coming out of this lab. I guess further investigations will yield what, in your view? Because the next question has to be whether or not this was intentional. I mean, if it was developed in a lab, leaked from the lab, what's your take on what we may learn here?
Well, the evidence that's certainly gathering indicates that it likely did come from this lab. And this particular lab, Lawrence Livermore, is highly respected in this country. It's overseen by the Department of Energy. And when this report hit the State Department in May, remember, and it's still a classified report today, so the American people haven't seen it. But when it did, at that time, Maria, most people were pointing the finger, I mean, our scientists and the world scientists, that the origins of the Wuhan virus was natural causes as opposed to a laboratory. So this was very different. And that combined with our intelligence services further investigation throughout 2020, the Trump administration, by the closing months of 2020, concluded that the likelihood is what we're dealing with today, that it did come out of that lab. So this was a pivotal report. Right. In my own mind, I'm not a scientist, but unless we have scientists able to look at the original data dealing with this, I suspect we'll never be able to conclude with absolute certainty that it did come out of the lab, although all the evidence is pointing to it. Listen, China is not going to give that information up. I mean, President Xi and his regime's behavior in covering this up is criminal activity. They're protecting that. They don't want to weaken this regime or actually push it over the brink where the Politburo decides they have to put somebody else in power here because President Xi has become such an international pariah. So they're going to pull out all the stops to keep us away from that original data. It's unlikely we'll ever see it.
And because of that, because of the way the CCP has tried to downplay this and lie about what took place here and corner the market for protective equipment, you have to look at the CCP and wonder whether or not this was intentional. I mean, look at the 2020 that the CCP has had. In addition to allowing this virus to escape its borders, it invaded India, killing 20 Indian soldiers. It went into Hong Kong and started laying the law down, arresting people who were fighting for freedom and wanting autonomy. Then they seized their assets. Look at our friend Jimmy Lai, who's been a friend on this program. I know you know him very well. He's sitting in a jail right now. He got all of his assets seized after being arrested. And this was 2020. Then we get a threat from the Global Times, which is a mouthpiece for the CCP, recommending that the CCP invade Australia because Australia wants answers for the coronavirus's origin. We've got the Biden administration launching trade and investment talks with Taiwan, a move likely to upset China as well. The administration also says it is going to target China with a new strike force to combat unfair trade practices. So, General, I mean, look at what the CCP has done just in the last year with absolutely no accountability. What's next?
Yeah. I actually believe that we should be having an investigation about the spread. I mean, the origin of this is certainly critical because, as all the scientists have indicated, if we can get and examine the origin of it, we can help prevent this in the future. So that's vital. But the other thing is the conscious steps that President Xi took once he knew he had human-to-human transfer. And those were very aggressive steps to shut down Wuhan City, to deny any flights coming out of Wuhan City to any place in China. He was trying to protect two major things: his political power source in Beijing and his financial power source in Shanghai. That's what that was all about. But he permitted all of the international flights to continue to go across the planet. Why did that happen? And that contributes to the spread of the pandemic. It could have possibly been held to a regional and local epidemic that we've seen in the past, as opposed to a pandemic. That is an investigation that must be held, and the Chinese must be held accountable for it. And I'm surprised we haven't dropped that shoe by the Biden administration at this point, given all what we know now about the deception concerning the origin of the disease. There's the same amount of deception concerning the spread of the disease.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. They closed incoming flights to Wuhan. They left international flights wide open so people from Wuhan could go travel to Italy, to the U.S., and that's exactly what they did. You mentioned an investigation. I know that Peter Navarro, when he was at the White House, prepared an executive order for President Trump to put China and the CCP in front of a presidential commission. I mean, what kind of investigation should we see? Are you looking for a 9/11 type commission to get to the bottom of this?
Yeah, I think it's the only way we're going to really get at it. And the good news here is that in this very divided political situation we have in America, this is one of the few issues where there's significant bipartisan support in terms of China's behavior, and also, as you mentioned, support for Taiwan, which began under the Trump administration, and the Biden administration has picked that up. There were 3 senators in Taiwan this weekend. That in itself is news. 2 of them Democrats, 1 Republican. They brought with them vaccines. They landed an Air Force aircraft. And now the Biden administration is opening up trade negotiations with Taiwan, something that the Trump administration did not do. I think they wanted to do it, but they didn't want to corrupt the deal they were making with China on trade, is what I've been told. But this is another positive step that we have in bipartisan support for pushing back on China and helping our allies in the region. All good news.